boy. How are we doing? Okay. Um, all right. So last we left off, we were blocking out this area. Oh yes, and we just added this height difference here, which I think is quite neat. God, and this is just kind of just kind of flat, isn't it? Um, okay. So, I was actually cleaning my room a little bit last night and getting rid of a bunch of like paperwork. I typically keep a bunch of sticky notes on my desk of like just various notes, and I know I had written down some stuff in prior sessions to kind of note like, okay, I need to fix this with the level, I need to fix that with the level, and there's some notes I have here that I was looking over that I didn't address for a while. And one of the issues here is that I was just thinking of something. The When the player comes out here, and the ship starts moving, there's really no indication of anything happening immediately. And so I wanted some like audio feedback or visual feedback at some point to hopefully help with that. What just occurred to me is that we're gonna need some like visual effects here anyways for like flooding and draining all this water in the different chambers or the different locks. So I think that and so yeah, it just occurred to me like a minute ago. It was like, oh, that could be like the visual feedback. Although I think because of that, we would need that to be, because this is the border of this is the very top of what's going on here. So I think we might need to bring this up a little bit, and that would probably solve our flatness problem over here. And hopefully with a closer surface higher up, we can get some lighting up there to better call out the silhouette of the ship here and make it visually apparent, like, oh, there's this thing right here. So I don't know, maybe that's something we can tackle today. I'm not sure if that's the first thing we're gonna do, because I want to figure out like what we're doing here. Right, there was also this issue with this back storage area that I added on a whim, and I'm not sure if it's needed, you know. Or at the very least, I don't think it needs to be this large necessarily. If we hide... Oh. I'm not sure what that was. Or what that is. Yeah, so if we hide that portal, I think maybe this is a bit too much for a balcony here, but well, actually, this does just stretch past the width of the opening here, so maybe, I don't know. I think having the bulk of the room basically be like twice as wide as this. So if it extends out about here or something like that, then we like move the back wall here to just enclose that. I think that's large enough and perfectly fine. And then we'll add some sort of ramp going to a set of double doors that implies that that's like where things get pushed out into the city. And then it'll probably be fine. I largely just want this here as sort of a way to circulate the player through this space. Because if the player goes up here on the second floor here into this small office area, and we just got rid of this back storage area completely, this would mean that this would be a solid wall and the player would have a dead end here, and I'm not really a fan of that. I would like to avoid that. This office area is a little small though, but it might be fun if we actually kind of have it like extending halfway in here as well, so it's kind of split between these two areas. That could be cool. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. It's this and that. I don't know how to be. I don't know how to feel to be classified as a streamer, but thank you. Although to be fair, you know, it's not like I put out a ton of pre-made video content recently, so if the shoe fits. Oh, this is good. We can just get rid of that. Oh, no. Are these? No, they're not the same. Actually, I'll just have them meet in the middle inside the wall there. It's a weird way to do it, but it works. Oh, you are? Nice. I'm ecstatic too about something. I was waiting for someone to actually be in the comments for me to say it. What's up, man? I was notified Wednesday, although I've yet to get an official offer letter, but I've been notified that I'm gonna get an offer to be a level designer for a studio. So it's over. The nightmare's over. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't want to put it on social media yet until I have it signed. I believe they're gonna get it to me tomorrow, and then I'm gonna be starting. They gave me a start date that's later this month, so that doesn't give me a lot of time to get out to where they are. But God, it's kind of surreal. How about you? What's your good news? If you are willing to share. I want to scooch this in a little bit because I don't want this sticking out too wide. And we've got this little lip here, and I'm not crazy about that. Feels like I'd either want to make this longer to actually provide the player with somewhere to hang out here and make it look like a space that you could actually do something with, or I want to shorten it so that it's flush with this face, but then that would bring it, that would make it stop before the edge of this frame. I think I'll just tuck this frame in a little bit then. Oh, nice. Sweet. We are the employment lads. Okay, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay. Game dev bar. Yeah, yeah, I do. I have really shirked that, especially recently while I've been looking for work. I don't know if you were in here a couple minutes ago, but I just mentioned I'm gonna get an offer letter real soon to be a level designer at a studio. So yes, hopefully I can get back on the horse once I'm out there and working. I had an interesting idea for a video that would actually take place in Unity, but there's a plugin I want to buy to actually get it to show video in Engine, and that's like $150. So yeah, I don't want to spend that money until like I actually have a paycheck coming in. But yeah, so yeah, I really want to get back to working on that as well. Holy shit, indeed. I'll be making a more public official announcement once I actually sign the damn letter. So so how long do I want this to be? It's got 64. is what's it? Something called Render Heads, I believe, or it's made by the company Render Heads. It literally lets you play videos on a surface in Unity, like a primitive surface. So I thought it'd be fun to do something like I don't know if you've seen videos by this guy John Boas, but he does videos that are basically statistical breakdowns of sports, and he sort of does it in this interesting like primitive 3D rendered style, where he incorporates a lot of statistic stuff with like live action footage of sports. It's really cool. Yeah, I think that's the one. So yeah, I am feeling quite relieved. I'll tell you that. It's great because I can play like Enter the Gungeon for a couple of hours a day now, just in the morning, and listen to podcasts while I'm doing it and not feel guilty. It's delightful. Oh yeah, shaders are something, I'll tell you. There's a little bit I think back over the summer I was trying to mess around with geometry shaders. I'm not terribly good at those sorts of things. Oh, really? That's an interesting sort of podcast game, but I guess if it works. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah. No, I've had to learn a bit of that for stuff on Albino Lullaby. Getting real familiar with not just the shaders, but just like Blueprint in general. It's weird how it's so like different from actual programming, even though it's the same logic. So let's take a look. Yep, it's about what I expect. Again, I don't understand how like lights like bleed in. I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm gonna shorten this anyways. Let's drown out. Oh, I think I might have heard that. Is that like one of those they like comment on a movie? Oh god. And oh, whoops. No, the sidewall does need to be that long. Boy. And okay. Still don't know what to do with this lip though. Like right here. Okay. Oh, Roaster Dude. Do you know him, or is this an alias? Yeah. Gosh, what was what are the podcasts that I can publicly admit to liking? um, I started. I mean, there is one that I found recently. There are a couple of guys in Heavy Eye's Discord server. If you're familiar with Mitch and his videos, there's some people in his server who run this one called "Video Games Are the Worst Thing on Earth," which I think is really funny. I listened to a couple episodes of that. Then oh, what else? Well, the Riding on Games cast, of course, featuring Hamish from Riding on Games and his pal Nico, both of whom are good friends. What else? Oh yeah, so I think maybe if I have like a wide concrete ramp or something going up to a couple of double doors up here, that should give us enough of an indication of how large pieces of cargo are supposed to be moved through this space. Oh, nice. Oh, he's a Discord for that. Okay. What else? There's this one called Behind the Bastards, which is pretty good. Which, you know, talks about like terrible people from history. Yeah. It's really neat. Gray steel. Oh yeah, concrete. Oh yeah. Uh, 48 by 96. Having something a little less steep for this particular environment might be good. Again, to sell the idea that this is supposed to be used for pushing large crates and pieces of cargo. Oh, sure. I really got to figure out how to like have YouTube not auto filter comments that use like shit or fuck in them. That would be good. Okay, it's this view. All right. Hey, Alex, how you doing? Um, or do I have that like kind of recessed? Yeah, let's put it a bit back here to just make it a little more interesting and hopefully gain a little more height. What did I say about the employment gap in the interview? I don't think they asked. I mean, it's just been a few months, and I think everyone, at least within the states, they understand that it takes quite a while to find a job again. Especially if you're not like senior level. Oh yeah, how does this compare to the quote unquote street elevation here? It's actually a little higher. That's probably fine. The player's not really gonna notice. Oh god, this is off by like 2 units or something awful. It's like a unit and a half. No. This is the worst. Grid. Gotta go down to like... Oh, it's still off by like... Oh, I swear to God. Do I ever do game jams? No. I don't know. There was something about fuck that. I'm just gonna draw a new one, a new cube. There was something about the way that people would like pitch game jams to me in college, where it's just like, hey, we're just gonna, be in this room for like 72 hours and make a game, and we're not gonna sleep and we're not gonna shower. And I'm like, that sounds awful. I don't know. There were a couple of times when I tried to do one, but then they always kind of fell through because someone couldn't commit. And certainly, in college as well, it feels like, if you do a game jam, you're putting your like other academic work at risk, and certainly I would have felt like pretty awful. I mean, if people want to do it, certainly I'm not stopping them. I know you mentioned that you wanted to participate in the Global Game Jam. Oh, yes. One of these. I mean, people have mentioned that, game jam stuff can turn into good games, or they could serve as good portfolio pieces, and I certainly agree. But yeah. what am I gonna put here for doors? Dark mod. Arched. Nah. Oh, aren't these fancy? This door is extremely French. Industrial grate. Oh, interesting. Warehouse front door frame. Oversized doors. Mansion old door, maybe. Tavern door. Oh, look at that. That's actually gorgeous. Vault door. Holy shit. Look at all these. Windowed doors. Oh, that's interesting. There's a whole world of doors here that I've just neglected. Tavern door. I don't think that's necessarily appropriate here. Mansion door. Mansion door. No. This looks way too modern. You know. Maybe a city gate. Oh, that is too huge. Please win. Okay. Oh, nice. Put on the Sims music. Model. Two of these might be alright. Yeah. And snapped into place like that. It's a huge gap there, though. For a blockout, I think that's good enough. We will, of course, come back to this later. For this area, I think I want, yeah, another ladder here. So, where else did I put a ladder? Oh, that was in the excuse me. That was in the building C, I believe. Yes. So if I can Oh yes, I should filter all the clip textures, make this easier. Make a copy of that. Bring that over here. Mask the gap of the pillar. I mean, normally that would work, but we want this space to be an area where people are pushing large crates and pieces of cargo around. And this will be like where it comes to and from street level. So a pillar in between those, I normally would agree, but a pillar between those would clearly indicate like that would block it. I hope that's high enough for the player to comfortably get on and off. Maybe add a metal railing here. Oh yeah, I want to Oh. Yes, this is good. I did, when I adjusted this, I did not adjust the portals as well, so gotta do that. No. Here we go. Create a model. We have handrails. Handrail metal. Double section. Would these be pointed like inward or outward, do you think? Thinking inward. Outward? How many passes? Probably not enough. Me redoing a bunch of these buildings is partly it's partly a response to someone I brought onto the show who was just like, you should rethink some of these areas. And so, yeah, this is sort of my penance for that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. Um, honestly, I don't know. I've done things like once, and then, it started blocking out, and then blocking out was sort of the, point of revision from, the paper map. But, I don't know. I feel like I need to start like actually being a little more critical and redoing a bunch of my paper maps. Um, for some of the stuff I did in Underworld Ascendant, we typically had for the puzzle rooms that I did, we had like 3-ish iterations on paper before we started blocking out and reusing assets, and it was mostly just because we could focus on. No, that ain't it. Andrew Corner. So we could focus on what Justin wanted me to focus on, which was sort of like a minimal, a reduction of like the elements in these spaces where it's like you literally only have what's there that's needed, and you sort of simplify everything. You simplify the space. Whoa, what in the world? Okay. Yeah. I feel like it's not quite the right dimensions here, but actually, I'm not sure we need to have this sticking into the wall. We could just add one of those joints, I think, to the end. Handrolled joint? No. Single. Okay. I really don't. Yeah, I really haven't used reference photos. It's kind of interesting because it's like, first off, how wide is this gap? Is that going to be? It's 48. Maybe I could move this over slightly. Yeah, no, I typically don't use reference photos because that's really not part of. Again, that's not kind of part of how I was taught for my process, and that is probably something I could bear to improve as well. Because I was thinking about like concept art, and once I got into a studio and we had concept artists around, I was like, oh, I literally don't know what the point of this is. And apparently part of it is like concept artists want to actually like, part of it is actually like creating spaces that look interesting to play in, and so the level designer can actually take some of those and adapt those. And maybe I'll get to do that someday because that sounds fun, but for now I don't really. I think if I just put 2, it's just gonna Yeah, it's gonna be too wide. You know, it'll be covering this area that I want to reserve for the ladder. Oh yeah, I started reading. Did I bring this up prior? I started reading this book, The Design of Everyday Things, which has been a book that has been recommended to me by a lot of designers for quite some time. I am excited to read more of it. It starts with a very interesting premise of what's it? The guy said, knowledge exists in the world, and that taking advantage of that is like good product design or just design in general. And that's a weird statement, but I'm interested to see the author follow up on that. I want to test this out. So let's do that. Control Alt demap this. Yeah. As I've mentioned in prior sessions, I think I want to. I mean, after this project, clearly, I think my sense of architecture is off and a little wonky. Hang on, let me close my curtain so I don't get the glare on my screen. Yeah. But I think something I want to do is actually just start like being a little more literal in spaces that I would want to. Oh, whoops! Still using the arrow keys there. Yeah, I want to be more literal and maybe like actually recreate some architecture from like floor plans or photos or something like that. And then I would want to I don't know. I'd want to maybe take those and adapt them a little bit to make it a little more interesting and player friendly. Oh god, right. I'm not sure I have a key set up for this actually. And now that I've copied this over here, this is also going to be locked, so of course, but actually let me close my other curtain. It's still quite dark. And then, ideally, if I get a bit of a better hang of recreating architecture, I can actually just start drawing like little buildings and facades in like a sketchbook or something. Yeah, this feels... Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, but eventually I hope to make Oh, what is going on here? What the world? Oh dear. I think I might want to move this out. Yeah. Just... Okay, I'm gonna move this out a little from the wall, or from the landing here. I have zero idea what's going on with that rendering glitch. Design test. Yeah. Oh. That would do it. Jesus. My opinion on open world design. It sucks. Fight me. No. Yeah, that's clearly a different beast to tackle. For a design interview I had a few months back, actually, with ZeniMax Online, I had to look at a lot of open world stuff and try and figure out what was going on there. And it's kind of tough. For open worlds level design, there's a couple of things that you kind of want to focus on. First off is, I talk about, initial reads quite a bit in my videos. So, so I'm not saying this is necessarily a great one. I think it's one of my better ones. But for an initial read, you're typically like putting lights in order to communicate the space and the layout, like the fact that, we have a light on the back wall here that sort of is clipped by this front thing. Therefore, you can tell that there's this like thing here, or this like piece of geometry that's like standing in front of this and illuminating part of that surface with this light here and showing that there's a door there. Helps communicate to the player what's going on. This is kind of easier to do than open world stuff because you are constraining the player quite a bit in terms of like, this is the door that you can go into for this particular building, and so you're very controlling of the angle that the player comes in on. When it's an open world game and the player can literally climb around and look at a city at basically any angle, even though you have very deliberate paths that you intend the player to walk through or walk along to go from like town to town, you can compose it and try to encourage the player as much as possible to come in from the angle that you want them to, for them to see, or to provide a context through which they see a settlement for the first time. But there's absolutely zero guarantee that that's going to happen. Certainly the player can fudge that as well in more constrained levels like the one I'm making right here, but the problem is amplified in a Skyrim or an Elder Scrolls Online. So part of that is also the way I use like walls and geometry here to sort of restrict the player's view of certain areas. You can actually, and this kind of blew my mind, I was reading up an article about like Breath of the Wild and the way it sort of composes certain views, literally using the terrain to sort of block certain things. And so like when the player like comes around a hill or a mountain or something like that, and then that's their first view in a valley where they see like a city, that is you know, typically how you control like reeds in like an outdoor context. And that kind of blew my mind of like literally using the terrain mesh itself to control that, which I think is really cool. Another thing is that, you know, typically if you want the player to engage in the open world, you want them to go around and see like all of the potential areas in an open world. And so to sort of understand that quests are going to point the player towards different locations, and because of that the player is likely to take particular paths between locations, you can kind of spread out where a quest is pointing you at any particular point, in order to make the player explore the world a little more evenly, as opposed to like traveling along the same 5 paths or traveling between the same 3 cities or something like that, which would get dull and repetitive. It'll look pretty. That Rockstar saw after GTA 3. Yes, I like the power. No. They're few and far between, and they immersively let you survey any area and just the views accordingly. Ubisoft never truly explored that mechanic with their towers. I can't say I've played a latter-day Ubisoft open world game, at least fully. There was one night where I was playing co-op in Watch Dogs 2 with some friends. But I think they varied that kind of stuff up in that game. Like, you know, I know in Far Cry 3 and subsequent Far Cry games, there's a big emphasis on climbing radio towers or something similar. So yeah, I don't think that Watch Dogs 2 has an equivalent, maybe. I really didn't get that far in the game again, but yeah. I think we're pretty okay here. And yeah, I mean, maybe again placing some cargo. And then if I unfilter clip textures, just copy this whole thing. No. I want to rotate it. Be like this or something. No, I haven't actually. God, it's too many games. I'm only contributing to the problem, but yeah. Yeah, this should be fine. I think there's enough interesting stuff going on here for now. This is probably too narrow for AI to get into and out of, and that could prove a problem. Hell, I think the player can't get out of here. Yeah, I don't think so. To keep player investment. I don't know if I agree. I think keeping player investment in indoor or outdoor environments is probably an equal challenge. Although I think it would probably manifest in different ways. Maybe something like this. Actually, how wide is this? This is 176, and this is 160 actually. So it's 32 units from the edge now, but maybe just one more. Oh, I forgot a box. Yeah. Hopefully that's good enough. So now this is about 40 units, a little wider. Although I think if maybe if I say like remove this box to provide the player a thing to mantle onto, that'll be good. So if I filter clip textures, yeah, over here, lets the player mantle up here and then get up here or there, and so this isn't like a way to back them into a corner or something. Yeah, I feel like I said that about Prey. That sounds about right. And I stand by it. Ooh, actually, I think what would be fun here is if we put another crate structure like this under the scaffolding here. I think it's just about the right height. Yeah. And then filter viz portals. No. We can start taking a look at yeah, how this frames the ladder. Yeah, look at that. This should be, oh, that's 40-ish units, maybe. Not quite so much. Yeah, I forget what, there's a particular piece of software that they used at ZeniMax Online, and I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was, yeah, they would actually take a zone, which was like a chunk of what's the Tamriel? That's it. They would take a chunk of Tamriel, and they, are making one for like each expansion or something. And they would split it typically into like a 5x5 grid, and each unit on the grid or space on the grid was like, I think a square kilometer or something. So each of those areas would end up being 25 square kilometers, and they actually managed to pretty regularly, because they've been putting out stuff on ESO for like 6 years or something now. They are very accurate in terms of like understanding, okay, this will be like this many work hours per square kilometer in the game. And it's absolutely remarkable what they've been doing production wise, I think. Yeah, so let's add some light here. It's not filter viz portals, but we'll filter clip textures. So I think coming into here, I want the ladder to be emphasized a little bit. And I think I want to, well, certainly I want this to at least feel like a less safe area for the player to walk around. I think, yeah, placing a light right here is safe right now. I don't think there's any other lights in the area that'll overlap with it, so that'll be good. So yeah, let's take this and this, just copy it and rotate it 180. That's over here now. Oh, Jesus. Oh, good question. Yeah, there are a lot of things that I guess there's a lot of like styles that I have not been able to like break down into expressing as why something resonates to me as a particular style, but I think that at least for I mean, I wanted to watch Brazil for quite some time. I think just because I'm interested in like post Monty Python stuff and Terry Gilliam in general. Um, but then I found out that there was like some Thief, or there's some Brazil influence in Thief. Which is pretty cool. I watched it, and there are some photos that I had taken of some of the Brazil set design, which was really neat. But that's a little more towards the surreal side, I think. Well, not quite surreal, but exaggerated, definitely. For more surrealist, I would say like David Lynch. I mean, I just love his films in general, but I would definitely want to see if I could make something like that someday, or something that could evoke similar vibes, you know. And then I think how to explain it? I think there's this sort of like cheesy 80s fantasy thing, and sometimes I get that from like Kate Bush music videos, you know. And that's more that's not like surreal necessarily, but it's more romanticism, which I would really dig. Okay, so this looks pretty nice. Maybe have a light on the back wall there. Maybe one up towards the door. Well, I don't want to emphasize the doors, because that might feel like I'm calling that out to the player to go there, and I don't plan on having that going anywhere. Tim Burton dungeon synth. Yeah, I've listened to a little dungeon synth. I'm not sure it's my thing, but maybe sort of, trying to evoke the same feelings. God, I'm trying to think of other things I like that I want to emulate. I don't know. I think I just get senses of like within particular buildings or rooms, or like sort of like feelings or moments in time that I would want to recreate. But I don't think is I don't know. That kind of thing is like harder to capture or explain, I think. Cool. And now the sun has moved and it's shining on my computer screen again. So, hang on. There we are. This is pretty good. Like, there's some like surreal and evocative areas in like Thief Gold that I really love. The Thieves Guild, it's funny, in the New Blood server, in the channel on Gloomwood, which is an immersive sim that they're putting together. people recently just had a big conversation about like the Thieves Guild and it being the worst. um, but there are parts in the Thieves Guild, especially in the sewers, that I remember being like imprinted on my brain, because they're like these like huge sets of like tunnels and sewers that all just use this like bright red brick texture that is just so evocative, and I don't know why that like stuck with me. What's interesting is that Thief was developed in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is like I practically live there, and so I also live pretty close to Harvard, and they have these brick structures. If you've never been to Harvard Yard, it's literally like a courtyard that's surrounded by brick walls and gates, and some of the dorms in Harvard actually like form the perimeter wall there, which is pretty interesting and neat. So I think that I want to copy that lantern from the other building. But yeah, whenever I walk through there, especially at night or in the evening when the lights are going, they have these like street lamps there within it, and I just get big Thief vibes. And I'm wondering if like part of the aesthetic was of Thief was like influenced by like Harvard. There are also like weird associations I have with it because I think quite a few areas in Thief are those like brick buildings with like very warm yellow windows, and you're always like, how do I get in there? How do I get into the building? And I think now that I see that around Harvard, I have this weird association of like, I want to break in there and steal something. But that might be a problem with me. Yeah, okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. And again, these don't... Not from Harvard. Anyways. You do art. Hobby. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of digging this. Oh, this is floating. That's not good. Okay. Better. The hallway facing the boxes. Thanks. Maybe I should rein this in a bit. Well, not along that dimension, I think, but... And I will... No, the mesh. Yeah, I just want to move this close to the wall as I can. That's good. Just so it's out of the way of players or guards moving. Yeah, this feels thiefy already, kind of. Just too many large boxes. And this doesn't overlap with this, does it? Oh wow, it does actually, huh? We can probably squish this in. How does not actually go inside? Okay, that's good. And no, still barely. But I can push that in, and now I think we're good. Yeah, it can be tricky. God, there's absolutely no light in this area. Yeah, I feel like this might be a bit too close. Oh, actually, how does this affect the read? Can I filter paths? Yes, I can. So the player comes through over here. Oh, you can actually get like a glint off the boxes. That's pretty nice. System Shock 2 fan? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I made a video on it discussing MedSci. I can probably move this over a bit to make this a bit stronger on the boxes themselves. So that way it's better seen from out there. Oh God. Look at that. It's just so evocative. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by corporatism, but certainly there are issues with private businesses in the United States and the way they sort of conduct themselves. I think that's, you know, going to be true of pretty much anywhere in the world, except for maybe, I don't know, Scandinavia. Oh, I can hide that. Yeah. Neat. Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure what the best situation for this would be. It's also kind of tough because this is a this is sort of an intersection and a choke point between like all of these areas. So I think this area needs a light. But I could not imagine what that might be, at least fictionally. Maybe just another overhead light like this one, I don't know. But also, because again, it's location here between all these like places that the player is going to move in and out of, like placing a light smack dab in the intersection here, that's going to make this place difficult to move through. I think with the combination of this office up here, that might be okay. Because the player has another way to move to like get back here. And you know, we have the main area of this huge entryway that circles back around here. That's probably fine. Yeah, and you know, this is the area where the player is theoretically going to be able to lower this, get onto the ship. So it's a mid to late game area, or mid to late level area. So maybe we could commit to that. And of course, if it doesn't work in playtesting, or it's too tough in playtesting, we can always just get rid of it, or reduce the difficulty, rather. I want like an overhead lamp here. I mean, how badly employees are treated. Yeah, it definitely depends on like studio to studio. Create model. The place I'm going to, they have given me, or you know, my once I sign the offer letter, I'm going to be full time, because you know they explicitly sent me you know, a PDF of all their employee benefits and all that. And so the place I'm going to seems pretty nice, and my friend has actually been there for several years, and he seems I haven't really asked him, but he seems pretty happy there, and it seems like he's not planning on moving, so that's good. This will be non-extinguishable, right? Let's put a chandelier in there. No. Hanging lamp, hanging lantern, hooded lantern with flare, with flare. Whoa. Interesting. Indicator light. Yes, industrial ceiling light. That's what we want. Or maybe I should check out the hanging lamps here first. Short chain? Nah, I don't think that's right. Oh, right, that's wall mounted. Make my dream game when you retire. Yeah, same. Or not even when I retire, but just like sooner rather than later. I have weird ideas, and I must express them. I think that's the origin, which needs to be in the world, actually, so. I did not think that that model was going to be so huge. I mean, look at it. This is as wide. This is wider than a guard. That's massive. Oh yeah, yeah. Whew. Simple square hanging. No. Ooh. Standing lantern. Heyo. How do I... Something back here, maybe. Oh, yeah. Maybe, something like this. Hanging lantern. Yeah, so I can actually get like a red light in here. Contrast the color. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm not sure that's appropriate. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just rotate this, mount it to the ceiling. I'll probably be fine. Yeah, that seems all right. Fortnite, but an SS2 style. That is something. Ideally both. I know you can't have it both ways all the time. Certainly the place actually, I don't know if I should say that. But I think what a lot of people do in the industry is they basically, work on games that will make them money for a little bit, and then they stockpile, and then they go off and then they make something that they're excited to make. And that seems to be like a way. I don't know. I think that's something that I would, or an approach that I would take. Oh, wow. Oh. These most definitely overlap. That's not good. Oh, well. Ladder during the day, format at night. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good answer, Hero. And I think well, I haven't signed the offer letter, so I don't know the terms, but I don't know if they would let me work on personal stuff on the side at the studio. Probably want to make this no shadow. No shadows. There we go. But if they do allow me to work on personal stuff on the side, then yeah, I might invest in trying to make a bit of a game on my own. Again, if they allow that. I want that for the record. Those don't overlap. That's good. Do these. Yeah, they do. Hey, Ossian. Battle Royale mode where you live up and fight NPCs until you cross paths with a human player. Release player, Children's Web. Huh. What Dive does with the Shock remaster. Yeah, me too. Oh. First game in Unity at school this semester, which is dumb. Oh, yeah. No, good to hear that you're doing better. I think it popped in like a couple sessions ago or something. No, it should have occurred to me, or I should have remembered then about your situation. I am particularly hungry right now. Yeah. It's very mannish of me. Food. I have like leftovers, but I really want tikka masala for some reason. UE4, nice. Yeah. Blueprint for me took a while to get used to, especially because I actually have coding experience. Actually, maybe I just want to actually make this spotlight. Yeah, let's try that. Ooh, neat. Source SDK hammer. Oh, nice, nice. Just for making levels, or actually like programming and modding? Alright, I gotta use vertex mode or something. Oh, that's weird. Huh. Like, depends on how precise, or like how close it is to the end of the frustum, or the pyramid rather. That is weird. Well, I guess it's good I figured that out now. Just for making levels. Oh, nice. Well, good luck, certainly. I started my first 3D level that I did was for a college class, and we used Hammer to make a Half-Life 2 level. So that's probably why I'm comfortable with all this BSP stuff now, or why I still have sort of an affinity for it. I think I put no shadows on that thing, but we can put shadows on that thing. Stockholm is a really nice place to be a game dev right now. At least in terms of access to studios. Because there's like a Ubisoft. Oh, these are overlapping, aren't they? Ah, damn it. I think that'll be fine in this situation, but I don't know. Avalanche and Dice, yeah. Starby. Oh wait, no. Oh, Yubi is in Malmo. Okay. Okay, that's... Yeah, that's good. And that still doesn't mess with the read too much here. I do want to move this over a bit just to get more of this edge defined by the light, because that's what you're really able to see like out there. I think it's pretty good. These, of course, are now overlapping again. That's not good. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I can probably also shrink this in the vertical. Actually, I think that just takes care of the problem entirely. Though that runs into danger of these two. Oh, come on. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Mario Maker 2 and a stylus. Oh, neat. Don't got money to buy consoles. Man, I had a Patreon for a tiny bit, for like 3-ish months, and then I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable really pursuing it, especially because of the irregularity of my videos, even back then, when I was actually still putting stuff out every several months, and especially now, I would not feel comfortable. I don't have a private Discord either, or like a Discord that I sort of maintain and cultivate. I will say that there are some Discords I'm in, like I think Heavy Eye's Discord is open to pretty much anyone. I'm in there. I'm in Lamhoot's Discord. I'm not sure if you're in that either. God, who else? I just joined Liam Triforce's a few weeks ago, I think. Which is not bad. It's just kind of massive, and I don't really check up on it a lot. And I'm in the New Blood Discord, and that's also massive. Yeah. And from here, I want... yeah, it's probably fine. Hamish's. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm not in the Hamish, the Writing on Games Discord. I'm not sure if that's Patreon or patron only. Once I have money, I should actually start committing to like more people's Patreon accounts. Wow, quite a few times when I start these streams, I'm just like, I literally don't know what I'm gonna do. um, but I don't know. It's nice to keep finding stuff here. And I feel like I'm actually like making progress here. Oh, right, because we actually have the windows here, implying that there's light inside. We should have light inside here. Gonna go out on a limb. Consider for 5 minutes every day for a week without talking to anyone, and then forgetting I even have Discord installed. Yeah. Yeah, if you're in Sweden, that must be like, jeez, 10 or 11 at night. Well, have a good night. Sure is. How do I want to handle... Yeah, I think I want to... move this over to the other side, actually. Oh, whoops. Yeah, good. And it'll swing open this way, which is good. Then maybe I want a desk right here with a lamp on it. That kind of will be our light source within here. Hey, no problem. No problem, Alex. Yeah, that's pretty good. What did I do? I had a... Yeah, something like this. Probably want this over here, actually. Come on. Something like that. Quite a bit of time. Yeah. I've just been doing this, basically 3 hours every Sunday, or most Sundays, for the past few months. So that's certainly I would be making a lot more progress if I was actually doing this like 40 hours a week as like a day job. But, I think it depends on the type of game you're making levels for, but I think on Underworld Ascendant, for example, a full level, which is kind of similar to this in like size and context, that would take, I think like 3 or 4 months each-ish. And that's just like one guy working on it, or mostly. Oh yeah, definitely. For Underworld Ascendant, it was also weird because it's like, well, I mean, it's not really that weird. But the process was basically like there were a certain number of levels that we would get to particular states. So we would get like a level to what we would consider a pre-alpha state, or what we would consider like a alpha state or a beta state, and then we would get all levels to that state, and then we would review the work, and that would line up with us trying to deliver the game and say like, hey, we to our publisher and say, hey, we think this hit our alpha criteria, and then if it did, we would progress past that, and then we would say, okay, well, let's get all the levels to beta. So the time spent on each level was like staggered. And from my understanding of similarly how like Skyrim's dungeon design happened, like it was a similar process where they were just like, okay, we're just going to block these out, and then we're going to do and then we're going to like review them, see if they play well, and then we're going to go through the series of dungeons again, and then like improve them and implement more stuff, and so it's not like all at once as like several months, but like, yeah. Have I noticed getting better and faster? I'm not sure, honestly. I think I knew this was going to be a huge level to undertake, but I feel like even now this was still kind of I don't know. Especially in the context of streaming, I feel like I could have and should have committed to something a little less intense. But, now that I've started this, I want to, again, commit to it. Okay, I think we're good here. In terms of stuff. Building the office. Where's the key for that? Oh, is it this one? Sure is. Boy. I'm gonna. I've gone mad. I'm muttering to myself. This is great. This rules. Just going crazy. Yeah. So I guess at least internally, I feel pretty good about that building. For all the areas, say around here, I think, the little time we spent on here, I still feel like better about this. But I don't know about, I don't know. I think there's still something we need to do here in order to make this feel better. Excuse me. What I think is awkward is that this is sort of I don't know. I feel like the space as a landing isn't really separate feeling enough, and I think similarly, I think that these two slopes basically here are like way too close to each other to actually be useful. And similarly, I think I want to raise this going up, but then this means that this lock / footbridge is, excuse me, going to be quite different in terms of elevation to this one, or slope. So I think I might want to raise this up a bit. So I think if we had this risen a tad to be this sort of intersection or landing, and we had some stairs going down into this space, that would cause us to need to raise this slope anyways, and I think that would be good. So I think I'm gonna do that. Split here, maybe? Or no, I don't think I need to. I think I can just raise this by... Again, I think like, this is what, 1632 units? Yeah, 32. Beautiful. I actually want to drag this out. There we are. Yeah, this is much better. Filter, clip textures. There we go. Okay, yeah, this is nice. Because this feels more like a distinct, not like square, but you know. I think that was something with my prior map in the dark mod. That was kind of an issue, especially in outdoor spaces. It would just sort of like non-defined and indistinct, which is kind of tough. But I think that even carrying that mentality of like perceiving of segments in outdoor environments as like quote unquote rooms, still quite useful. So being able to like subdivide these areas and being like, okay, this is like a room, quote unquote, and this is a room, quote unquote. Oh, and a nice advantage of that raising up is that we don't have Z fighting here anymore. Neat. Yeah, I think for all this I want to raise this up by like 32 units maybe, because that's consistent with how much this was dragged up. 16. That's good. Where are those? Good, and that actually feels like a ramp, you know. Raising this up by 32, that's good. Oh, is this? Wow, that's pretty far from 30 degrees. So that'd be 96 that we need to hit? Yeah, there. I don't know what that pop-up said. I hope it wasn't anything bad. Nice, okay. We're in a good position there. Now, so for this, need to raise that 30. Oh, whoops. Need to raise this 32 units. And therefore, the interior here should be raised 16. And therefore, this one should also be raised 16, and then it's just fine. And same with this one. Come on. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. You know, I'm thinking more and more. Well, you know, I probably don't need like this giant ass space back here. Especially now that this is being blocked off by here. At least most of the way. We could probably really reduce the square footage here at this point. Oh, actually, we don't need this to be one, two, three, 4, 5. That's probably enough. Or 6. Why not? iron gate or something like that. We can just decorate this later to make it look like an alleyway or something going off. Good, and that's like way better than having that giant ass streetway going down there. And I think we can similarly reduce this. I'm having trouble with the word similarly today. I don't know why. 5 years, okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking around here, especially for a space like this, you know, in front of like what appears to be, you know, a customs house or something. I think Hero had that suggestion last week. You know, this is like way too narrow a space, I think, for like people to be milling about. And so I would like to probably move this back, or maybe like over here a little bit as well. And because of that, I think like we don't necessarily need this space. But yeah, I'm not sure I want to commit to this yet, or commit to rearranging things here yet. I do like the profile of this, though. I want to keep this. Maybe I should actually play through this. It's been a while. Brush 357 on entity 0 is unbounded. What does that mean? I've never run into this before. Let me... So I know it's something that I've done this afternoon that's responsible for this. So that should narrow our search down, but it says brush 357 on entity 0 and coordinates I don't know what to make of those. $19.63.01 4769.61608. That's probably fine. That's probably good enough. So I remember when I hid something, I accidentally hit some button that made the entity list appear. That ain't it. Ah, there we go. I have a feeling entity 0 is just going to be world spawn. Yeah, world. Yeah. Brush 357 on entity 0. So what's our coordinates? It says 1963, which I assume is the X. About here. $4769. On the Y. Which is right about here, which doesn't make sense to me. And then that's 608. No. I haven't done anything with this stuff over here. Let me look at the Dark Mod Wiki. Unbounded. For the unbounded FPS options, that does not sound like what I'm looking for. Actually, let's go mod wiki. Yeah. Ah, cool. Well, I guess first off, let's try that again. And then actually write down the rest of those coordinates, because that first set did not help. All right. 1968. Four 799.28 640 and then 4.99 29.67 32, which is bizarrely off from the other two coordinates. There are also some errors we got up here. And this is just for AAS generation. I think it's probably fine. I think it's just a pathfinding generation thing. So this should probably still play okay. All right. So yeah, we're doing it legit. This light bleeding out here, it's weird. I don't like it. Okay. So naturally, I'll go this way. I can't. Don't like the player needing to grab that through a wall, basically. Oh boy. What is going on here? I don't like that. Yeah, let me write some of this stuff down. Redo key intro. Right. First key placement. Portal error. Building A. All right. Nice. From this view, it looks like there's going to be a pretty prominent segment of the far walkway there that's visible above this one. And so hopefully we can place like pipes and like some VFX there of like waterfall VFX in order to show the player like, hey, this lock is now flooding. It feels pretty good. Oh, nice, and look at that. Oh, did I have this on the accelerated timetable? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I think I did. Uh oh. That looks pretty interesting. I think there's a guy up there. Yeah. I realized just now how weird this whole thing sounds without any ambience. Kind of funny. He's coming back this way, isn't he? Shit. And I don't really have a sense of where he's gonna walk.
Something moving?
Yeah, too close.
Aha! Now I've
Fuck.
got you.
I'm not sure if he had the key. I think he did, actually. Okay, yeah, so if I wait... A lot of Thief games are about waiting. As it turns out. Oh. Alright. on, don't.
Bloody eyes are playing tricks on me, they are.
Come on.
Is that something over there?
Ah, shit.
This ends now.
Ah. Let me steal your goddamn key. Come on. I'm impatient. Actually, if I...
I've got him cornered here. Come out.
I do like this as an escape route.
Show his face again. Coward.
I don't necessarily like the player being able to get up here. Oh, jeez. It's pretty late.
Come on, you cock-brained whore. I'm gonna put a hole in you slow when I find you. Come on, you ghost-sucking bastard.
Oh. Will this be unlocked? Oh, shit.
Now I've got you, you bastard. Come here and fight me. Nice trick, but I'll fight you.
Can none of the AI use doors? Like, Jesus.
Aha! Now I've got you. I'll put my foot up your ass, thief.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I
Come
put
here
a
and fight me.
monster clip there. That's exploitable.
Bloody coward. What was that? Come on, you cock-brained son of a whore.
And the ship's leaving. Jesus. Come on.
This ends now. I've got him cornered here. Come on, you ghost-sucking bastard. I'm gonna put a hole in you slow when I find you. Weapons ready, boys. There's an intruder. Come on. Nice.
Is that ship still moving? My god. Yeah. Oh boy. Gonna end that. Okay, what did we learn? It's pretty goddamn hard right now. I think I want to revise. I think I want to double check what timings I have for, you know, everything. Come on. And I think first off, while I'm still here and still thinking of it, grid, filter, clip textures. Yeah. So it's a monster clip here. That's good. What else? I keep forgetting to like tweak all the AI. This guy especially. I think we did. 85. 85. The way... So the way I was in here hiding... and he was right there. Excuse me. He was just waiting. And I tried to move up on him. Dude moved around. And you know, I was just like there with like my pants down. Maybe if I make him wait towards the end there so the player has some time to move up on him. Maybe that problem will be solved with the lower acuity on the guard. I don't know. Oh yeah, what else here? I don't know how to feel about this right here. can certainly stretch this out to line up with that, so we don't have a difference of mantleable surfaces. Yes, that's all for the geo stuff right now. And he's 90. That's probably okay. Now for the timings for the... Yeah. Canal logic. Water lerp takes 40 seconds. Is that what that means? I've already forgotten. Yes. Thread water lerp. 120. Yeah, so this is actually... Oh god, I think this is supposed to be closer to 8 minutes each. And so I think this means that it takes 40 seconds, if I recall. Actually, let me look up water lerp. Oh, that's probably got to be at the top here. Yeah, float duration. Yeah, okay. So in the real case, that'd be 480 seconds. No. 6 times 8? Yeah, that'd be 480 seconds, which is kind of nuts. Although that means system weight 5 and system weight 475. And that'll be 480, and that would be 480. Okay. So I guess that's not... I don't know. Maybe that's not indicative of the actual experience then, because that took like, what, 10 minutes or something? All right. Now I want to see if I can still track down whatever the hell it is that's unbounded. So brush 357. Can I get a list of brushes? Oh, fine brush. Okay. What happened to this one? I don't think anything. Well, if I just delete it for now. That is about where the coordinates said. Gosh. God dang it. Alright, well, let's recompile this and see if there's an issue, and if there's not, then we know we've solved it, and I can probably just pack up for today. Yep. Seems fine. Okay. Nice. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Alright. Well, I think also for posterity, I will think of something here when he's coming around and passing through here. I get the sense that there's no real area that calls out to me as obvious as a hiding place. Maybe if I move this little patch of garden here to the side, and then I had this guard patrolling out both ways along here, then that would work. That would signal that better. Yeah, let me try that. Alright, yeah. I think I'll just move this stuff around for now and cement some of the details later. And probably move this to the outer wall as well now. Yeah, so we'll sort of call these out as hiding spaces, or at least this one a little more, probably next time. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I love the discussion that we had going on. So I guess I'll see you next week. Bye.